Maui Police Chief John Peltier, the same John Peltier who covered up the Las Vegas shooting in 2017, has said there is no police blocking any major road in Lahaina Maui. But this video here paints a much more different story. It looks like they were trying to cook these people alive. Those coming out saying there is barricades blocking every route and there are police telling them to go back into the fires were right. They were right all along. So this is nothing but murder.
By meeting with evacuees and cataloging their video, a more robust timeline comes into focus, and there are some surprises. Lahaina Luna Road, where it meets the highway, that was shut down at one point. Keawe Street and Honoapilani northbound was shut down during the height of the evacuation for over 2 hours. Downed power lines entangled these cars on Honoapilani Highway near Kapunakea, 1 block north of Lahaina Gateway. This man at 2:53 p.m. August 8th is unsure if the lines are energized and removes the power line from his SUV using a branch. Videos shot by Travis Miller shortly after he goes in and out of Safeway at 3 p.m. show northbound lanes then shut down. This video shows no cars on the blocked-off highway still, 5:24 p.m., 2.5 hours later, when Debbie Schultz-Peterson shot this video. Miller's video documented the lane closure during that time. He says police directed traffic down Keawe Street into the cannery.
And either went out the backside on the front street. I could see that everyone was blocked, so I went out and I came this way, and I got under the power line.
Though we are not crossing the barricade, we're told we cannot film here.
You go somewhere else, but you guys not allowed here.
Big cloud of black smoke past the window.
Before 4:30 p.m., Chantal Katnak is on the other side of the road closure, trying to get to the highway north from the vicinity of the bypass.
There was only one cop in that area where we were at, blocking for us to go to Keawe Street.
She and her son Keanu can't even get down to the cannery. She follows a line of cars, taking a residential back road north, leading through Waikuli. She detours to Old Stewart Road, which eventually becomes a dirt residential street. However, the bypass is right behind her, only it's closed, but there's more. Those trying to exit the middle of town from Lahaina Luna are also obstructed heading southbound. Before 3:30 p.m., Amanda Cassidy is among the early evacuees.
Anything could happen at any second, and I know that every second counts in those moments.
She leaves Lahaina Luna Makai of the bypass, but in this photo she says when she reaches Lahaina Luna Road and the highway, it's blocked off by an officer, not just to the north, but south as well. And that's only part of the story. This investigation will continue when we look at the lane closures for those heading south of town. Reporting from Lahaina Luna Road, Jeremy Lee, KITV4 Island News.
Make no mistake about it, this can happen to anybody in any state with no explanation whatsoever. A massive wildfire breaks out, and every road to leave the city is blocked off. Many of these roads, there are no down power lines as previously reported. It was the residents themselves having to pick up these down wires. The utility trucks reported blocking these roads were not picking up these wires. These roads were still blocked because they were taking their time fixing power poles, telling people to go back. Explain that to me. There's this massive wildfire breaking out. There is no hope. Why are you busy fixing the power poles? You should be removing these down wires so people can escape. If there's no people in the city, what's the point of fixing the power poles? People will actually see this evil taking place on video and still question if this evil exists until it happens to you in your state. And on top of everything else, we have the police telling the news they cannot film there.
You go somewhere else, but you guys not allowed here.
If that's not suspect, I don't know what is. What exactly do you not want filmed here? Is it the fact that you are blocking off this major road, telling people to go back into the fires, as the residents have reported hearing police say? And the only people to survive these wildfires are those who defied the roadblocks, those who defied police, and who knows how many of these people were shot at or even shot, because the coroner of Maui also happens to be the police chief of Maui, John Peltier. This is why people were saying this is a conflict of interest, because the coroner cannot be the same person who's in charge of people, a group of people potentially shooting at other people. Even if you do not want to believe that lasers, direct energy weapons, or other types of weapons were used on Maui because people cannot be that evil against their own people, you still have to explain what you see here. Because the residents of Maui believe they were attacked, they believe they were trapped inside a fire pit.
Block. Look at this. Holy shit. This is a nightmare. I don't know where he's going. Probably to block our street. They're gonna fucking barbecue all these people down in Lahaina. We're all trapped down in here. They're blocking off all exits. And everyone is just stuck. Going in a circle.
The waters were turned off as they were combating these fires, as they were getting the upper hand and calling emergency services to arrive. The fire trucks arrive, they hook their hoses up, and come to find out the water is instantly cut off.
We were fighting, we felt like we were winning. We were keeping it at bay, keeping it off of the properties. The water shut off. Even the firemen that were patrolling couldn't refill their trucks. The fire just grew, the sparks started blowing over and it just beat us in the end.
These people had no warning to leave the city. The only warning they received is when they saw the smoke encompassing the skies. None of the 80 sirens that surrounds the city worked that day. They want to say they did not turn the sirens on because they did not want people to go into the mountains, but that's not true because they were directing people back into the fire. And the original stories that did come out about the sirens is that there was a glitch. They were not working. And then automatically they wanted to change that story, that they were saving people. The same people that are saying we need to save these people are barricading these people inside of the fire. And the same exact day that these fires were started, and as Maui was burning, Hawaii's top emergency management officials were at a conference in Waikiki. So all the leaders and officials of a man-made, natural disaster could not be reached. Nobody knew who was in charge that day because all of them were in a conference talking about natural disasters as one was raging in Maui. There is so much about this that makes no sense at all, and people still want to believe there's nothing to see here. Everything's fine, everything was normal. This was just a normal disaster and all the responses were normal. This should be scary for any citizen because FEMA's director already stated this will happen again, giving a very ominous warning. Thank you so much for watching. If you do like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.
Another one to come, that we have enough personnel to go in and support these immediate life-saving efforts.
Last question, Alex. You mentioned just extreme weather that we've seen all summer from Hawaii, storms in Southern California. Is this in your view the new normal? Just summers where we're seeing these kinds of events more frequently and maybe more intense events than before?
What I can say is that we don't have a typical operational season like we've had in the past. We would normally prepare our staff to be on extra alert during the peak of hurricane season, which is where we find ourselves right now, but our operational tempo has been year-round. We started with atmospheric rivers in California in January, extreme tornadoes in the spring, to the wildfires, and now we are in peak hurricane season. And we have had an unprecedented number of disaster requests from governors because of the extreme weather that they're experiencing. This is our new normal. This is the operational tempo that we find ourselves in. And we have to continue to invest in mitigation and resilience to help these communities reduce the impact from these storms so we don't have such complicated recoveries afterwards.